It's DeFi space, and this is an impromptu Sunday live stream before I make it to church with the family. So we only have a little bit of time here, and we're going to move much, much faster today. Bitcoin is at a new all-time high, or I probably would have skipped out on this one today. We woke up in the middle of the evening last night just to see Bitcoin blast above $125,000. This has been awesome for our spot bags, not so good for our short, but we're going to get all into that in today's live stream. But first, please like and subscribe, ping that notification bell, and if you don't mind, share this video with anyone out there who would appreciate crypto and DeFi educational content such as this. And remember, none of this is financial advice. I am just a dad, a teacher, and a DeFi investor, not a financial advisor, a lawyer, or an accountant. But for anyone who is here for today's live stream, you are very, very, very much appreciated. We're taking a look right now at crypto bubbles, just to get a feel for kind of the general market. Camino Finance up 15%, Pith Network 3%. Some of our altcoins like Injective down just slightly, but let's take a look on the weekly. Looks even better, right? You see Camino 30%. Might need to look into that a little bit. Sol up 15, which kind of explains some of the Camino pump. Dogecoin up 12%. Sway up 15%. This looks absolutely awesome. Now we're going to take a look at the crypto markets. Fear and greed is getting back out of that neutral zone, which is awesome. That means that more and more people are getting less fearful in the market. I do believe that we are entering, as I've been saying, the fourth phase of the bull run. This is the one with the adrenaline rushes, the one that is the hardest to maneuver. So be aware. Altcoin season index is pushing closer again to altcoin season. We're sitting at 62, total market cap at $4.2 trillion. We've had a huge uptick, and a lot of that, if you haven't noticed, is the ETF inflows, especially to BlackRock and the Fidelity funds. Since September 28th, we have had inflows almost crazy daily, half a billion, 675 billion, 627 billion. The numbers are ridiculous, and part of the reason why the price is pumping so much. But can we trust weekend pumps? No, we cannot. You cannot trust a weekend pump, because that's when liquidity is lower. Now, if you take a look at anything else, like for example, hold up. Take a look at this off CoinGlass real quick. This right here is the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. We're specifically right now just looking at Binance. You can look at the total market, but if you notice something on not the 1 day, on the 7 day, we are skewed ridiculously to the long side. Usually, as you can see right here, we're going to have a ton of liquidations around. Well, that's a short, right there, which would be around where's that one? 115,600, and a lot around that area, a lot around 116.6, 100 and even right here at like 121, which is crazy, but I don't know what that's all about. So we're definitely going to pick all this up, but I still feel like we might have a short-term flush. Pretty overheated right now, so I'm not buying. I'm just kind of sitting, and I'll probably hedge another short. Maybe a bad idea based off of our last trade, but that's okay. Part of the reason we're not worried about that is the majority of our position is in our spot bags, 90% at least. Well, not counting DeFi positions. If I count DeFi, it would be 40% is in spot, 40% or so, or excuse me, 50% in, say, DeFi-ish positions, and then another 50% in spot and cold storage. I like to diversify my crypto holdings. But enough about liquidations right now. Enough about, and I'll show you my trade here in a minute, because I think it's a good lesson that we can talk about today here in just a few minutes. Now, let's take a look at the Bitcoin price chart. Right now, this is the bull market support band that I have labeled on the chart, and this is your stochastic RSI. We are looking at the daily. Now, on the daily, Bitcoin has pumped in the last like 5 days, literally from 114 at the bottom up to 125,700. So you're looking at a 10% pump, which in the traditional markets is nothing, but for Bitcoin, that's a pretty solid pump, but I've seen bigger. But 10% is humongous for a asset the market cap size of Bitcoin. Now, so I wanted to talk not about price predictions today, not about what Bitcoin's doing, but to have a little bit of chart analysis fun. So we're looking at the Bitcoin chart, and what do you notice on the last 2 taps we've had on the bull market support band here around 108,000, and then again around 109,000? What happened each time that during the bull run that we tapped into that bull market support band over the last couple months? Yes, if you look at the chart, we had a massive bump here, and we had another massive bump here, right? A lot of times during the bull market, as Bitcoin breaks into the bull market support band, you do have a kind of a recovery bounce, so to say, and this one was absolutely massive. This is the chop that, if I zoom out, everybody has gotten so bored and it was killing people. Up, down, up, down, up, down, between 108,000 and 125,000. Now, this is excellent for liquidity providers, and we're going to look at a Bitcoin LP towards the end of the stream. We're also going to look at a new perpetual DEX that has some awesome liquidity opportunities for us, but you'll have to stay to the end. And I only have about 15 minutes left at this point. So let's take a look now at the Ethereum chart. Ethereum, just like Bitcoin, showing tons of strength. We are fighting on the daily to get back above that 4,500 region. If we can get back above, and let me extend my yellow zone out. If we can get above this yellow zone, which is kind of my line in the sand, around $4,500, Ethereum is going to push back above 5,000 in my humble opinion. At this point in the market, yes, I'm going to I've taken out a cheeky Bitcoin short because it seemed so overheated last night, even though our previous one did not play out. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. But from here on out, I'm probably going to be focusing on longs and more so on Ethereum and altcoins, because I do believe after this run in Bitcoin dominance that we might experience that might be coming next. So as you can see, ever since we tapped into this 57% region, Bitcoin dominance has been on a rise. I expect us to keep following along this trend line. There you go, right? Pushing our way up towards 60%, as you can see right here on the chart. So Bitcoin dominance, great metric you should be looking at, because Bitcoin dominance does show us the percentage of the market cap that is in Bitcoin at that time. What's crazy is people were expecting this to keep on breaking down, but I think we got a little bit of a pump before it breaks down again. And what I'm looking at actually is for Bitcoin dominance to break down between 55 and 54%. Now, this 54% could possibly be the bottom of this market cycle. I don't know if we're going to make it as far down as last time. So these are kind of where I'm eyeing right now until we get a breakdown of this 54% area. Let's check Ethereum Bitcoin real quick, right? Ooh, look at that. Heading nice tap into our downtrend channel that we were in for 2.5 years pretty much, which is awesome. So we still are seeing some strength in Ethereum, although if we break down below here, we could revisit back to center between 0.028 and 0.3. Final chart I wanted to look at before I move on is the others chart. And this is a great chart to keep an eye on as far as the altcoin market. We are sitting right above that line in the sand for us to regain momentum, which is $224 billion. I hope we see it. We tapped into its bull market support band at $284,000. And if this chart goes parabolic, your altcoins are probably going parabolic too. The problem being is it seems to be specific altcoins, specific sectors, and not everyone is invited to the party. So that is something to really, really, really consider over the next little bit. I just see something that's messing with me on my screen right now. So give me just a minute. It's not right here. Here we go. Hold on, let me fix this. It's really bugging me if you're on the stream, guys. I don't know why this was so small. All right, we're almost fixed. There we go. Much, much better. That looks much, much better. There we go. All right. Much, much better. I apologize for doing that in the middle of the stream, but we're still, you can see the other charts has tapped into the bull market support band 1, now 2 times. We could have a correction as capital flows back into Bitcoin. We could see another tap into the bull market support band, kind of maybe watching somewhere around this kind of 305 area. It's hard to say. I'm just keeping an eye between 287.8 right here and the top of the line here, 245, and then of course what I've already had marked from previous cycles here. Now I want to go right back to the Bitcoin chart now to look at one last thing that we forgot to talk about. One indicator that I've found very useful to show momentum is looking at the weekly stochastic RSI, especially on the daily chart, which kind of like shows it to you a little bit quicker. As you can see, we had a stochastic RSI blue up cross right here, September 27th, right before this massive pump. Excellent indicator to pay attention to, as you can see. And what do you see here? It looks like we're trying to get a blue cross down on the daily. I'm expecting some sort of correction unless this changes. So this is an indicator that I use a lot, and it's one that I'm watching specifically right now to pay more and more attention to Bitcoin. So that would be an excellent one to add to your bag, which we have spoken about before on the channel. Now let's move on to our next. We're going to take a look at some news. Now I brought a couple different articles up on Cointelegraph that I wanted to show you. Okay, number one, this crypto trader turns 3K into 2 million after CZ posts. So meme coins going crazy, right? So Zal's social post sent meme coins pumping. This is an older article. I was wanting to play on the title. This title shows us that the market cycle is nearing to an end. These are bullish articles, bullish statements. Do not let things like this influence your opinion in these markets. Look at that picture. It's just itching to say, hey, come and gamble with us. Come and gamble with us, right? All right. The next thing I wanted to talk about is this article right here. Now, the big thing right now are tokenized DATs, or treasury companies that are borrowing money and then investing it into cryptocurrency assets, right? They have them now for all different kinds of altcoins, right? Many financial advisors, planners, crypto analysts, etc., are saying tokenized stocks was the single biggest mistake he made. I'd say the biggest mistake many of us ever made was handing over our hard-earned capital to Sam Bankman-Fried, who squandered it and bankrupted his company over leveraging, which will probably be the same end to this market cycle. All right, we have 2 more things to look at today. One is my VFAT portfolio. We found a new Bitcoin position that I wanted to share on the channel, a USDC Coinback-based Bitcoin position. This is one that I've looked at a bunch recently. We're earning over a 384% APR. The volume has been excellent in this aerodrome pool. We are actually moving this into a stable coin because I'm trying to stack a little bit of stables right now. But the yield on this has been amazing, and we're going to stay and move more capital in this pool until the APR begins to drop. And I do expect it to stay high. If we have a slight downturn in the market, then it's probably will level out and not be earning a crazy 300%. We're also playing around with the USDE wrapped AVAX position. Of course, we're about to release a video going into a deep dive over this Aster USDT position and this Aster wrapped BNB position, which both have been performing quite well. We're probably going to be taking some profits from the correlated pair, one holding stables and then moving into the other one on the next dip. Again, these are just my plays that I like to show with everybody in this space. Now, next thing I wanted to take a look at is a new crypto perpetual DEX. I know that has been the hot narrative. We have talked about Avantis, we have talked about Aster DEX, and now Bybit is releasing a perpetual DEX called BYREAL. Now, there is not very much liquidity on this yet. It's brand new, so it could be very risky. But I wanted to share some opportunities on here that I thought might be useful. And then hopefully in the near future, we can take a look at BYREAL in more detail. What is so interesting about this is they have lots of perpetual liquidity pools for stocks or X stocks that are on the Solana network. The BYREAL perpetual DEX is on Solana, and I could see this one picking up some steam in the near future. So I want to be at least positioned in some of the liquidity pools. Possibly you might be farming an airdrop coming up in the near future. We haven't heard anything yet, but you never know. And I wanted to show you some of these X stock pools. They're boosted right now. You're not going to earn these APRs for very long, but check this out. 317% on MicroStrategy, 300% on Circle, 378 on Tesla X, 130 on NVIDIA, 122% on SpyX. These are nuts. And then I like to go wider ranges on these so I can just kind of set and forget a little bit. And I'll show you the positions that I took yesterday. These are test positions. They're performing okay. I'm earning 335% on Tesla with a range between, 420 and, 440-ish. And I think some of our Yield Hunter articles in the near future, I'm going to go into more detail on some stuff going on here. But I'd like to give a big shout out to Gordon Frayne of the CryptoLabs research team, because he was the one that brought this to the table for their fast track program and also the UIG. So if you're interested in joining a group of very advanced, educated DeFi investors, use our link below to help support the channel and check out the UIG or CryptoLabs research and learn to do DeFi the right way. Anyway, let's take a look now at these are just two different positions, two different ranges, one much wider than the other, one more narrow, kind of experiment and see where we might put some capital. But it's earning a super high APR. I would not put a lot of liquidity into these positions. These positions can be risky. Liquidity is low, so be very, very careful with new protocols like BYREAL. Never, ever, ever put in more than you can afford to lose with anything in this space, right? All right, now I wanted to get into the final part of the stream, and that is not Dad's DeFi space as much. I did want to scan a couple of my articles before I have to head to go to church. I'm already in trouble since I was not finished quick enough with the wife, it looks like. And anyway, we're going to take a look at some of this other stuff. This is one of our last Yield Hunters strategy gods, Avant wrapped ETH. We are still in some of those positions. We have an article explaining the details of tokenized stocks on Solana. If you haven't checked it out, our Pendle deep dive. And we are This is a special one because this is a token that is not available yet that we have been researching. Hopefully a video in the near future. And then this is our most current one. The video will be coming out tomorrow morning on Aster yield hunting. So be looking for that. And if you'd like to get access to these yield hunting articles early, go to dadsdefispace.org and join our free private group. At least for the time being, before it becomes gated. But I hope that each of you have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. And it's so bright and sunny outside. And go hang out with some friends, touch some grass, go to church, whatever is going to make you feel good on the inside. We stay attached to our attached to our screens too much in this space, and touching grass is good for the soul. But anyway, I hope you all have a great week. Check out the Aster liquidity pool video tomorrow, and I'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.